Ah, Vermont. Land of the Green Mountains, covered bridges, and maple syrup. But not freestanding birth centers. So, what is a freestanding birth center?
A freestanding birth center is separate from a hospital. They offer a very important choice to healthy pregnant people, people who want the support that they know will help them achieve the goal of physiological birth according to the midwifery model of care.
Currently, Vermont is one of only 8 states in the entire country with 0 freestanding birth centers. All of the states surrounding Vermont have freestanding birth centers.
New Hampshire has 5 birth centers, and Maine, New York, Massachusetts also have birth centers. So it's just sad that Vermont does not.
To access the care they want, some Vermonters have to leave Vermont because freestanding birth centers are not a choice in their home state.
I did feel a little bit of a sense of sadness that on her birth certificate forevermore, she will be raised as a Vermonter, but have a New Hampshire birth certificate because we couldn't find a birth center in Vermont.
This isn't just a Vermont issue. Birth centers and midwifery care have been identified as key components of addressing our country's maternal health care crisis.
At the federal level, if you look at the recently released White House blueprint, they very clearly call out the importance and role of birth centers and midwifery-led care as being important to address these issues of severe maternal morbidity and mortality. On another level, it really does represent an opportunity to get at these thorny issues of, we call the triple aim.
We know that it lowers costs. That's definitely a high priority as we look at how are we going to go forward given the crises in healthcare and maternity care in particular.
One obstacle to opening a birth center in Vermont is the requirement of a certificate of need.
Certificate of Needs laws are a great example of something that was designed for a good reason, but then quickly devolved to become very punitive and restrictive. The idea was understandable and was trying to do a good thing, making sure we didn't have too many hospitals that didn't give good care. What it has developed into, particularly when we're talking about birth centers, is a massive restriction of trades. Essentially, it makes it almost or virtually impossible for birth centers to open in these states that have Certificate of Needs laws.
Our ability in the hospital setting to do what happens in a birth center in terms of labor support, respect for physiologic birth, support of autonomy and choice is really challenging.
I was looking for an out-of-hospital birth. To me, going to a hospital, you usually go there when you're sick. And so I was looking for a different kind of experience, and then finding a birth center also meant for me that I at least had a chance to be more heard as part of my care.
With the recent passage of Proposal 5, Personal Reproductive Liberty, it's clear Vermonters want reproductive autonomy. Choice of birthing setting is a reproductive right.
I couldn't find a birth center for that out-of-hospital experience, but I didn't know it wasn't available in the entire state. That doesn't make sense.
Birth centers should be an option in Vermont because there's this independent spirit and these values in Vermont that women aren't actually able to live out if they don't have the opportunity to make a choice about where they give birth.
Please support Vermonters and give them access to freestanding birth centers by supporting H80 in the House.